just knowing that you will not crash. If you're not in control of your emotions will be in control of you.
Okay. I would say school. School is it's a platform or an environment where one acquires formal knowledge, or is an institute where the knowledge is acquired, or where a particular discipline is being impacted on an individual.
Having a formal education is a necessity for everyone, because you tend to see that when you see two people, that one that actually passed through a formal education, there is a big difference with a total illiterate person. So school is what we learn every day, and it's only when you give a room for learning that you'll be able to have the school pass. You pass through the school, or the school passing through you. So school is something that we learn around us every day, and also the formal education that we acquire in our various schools.
Schooling days growing up was fun. It was fun. That was back then. I had my primary school and secondary schools in Delta State, Sapele precisely. It was fun because my parents contributed largely to that, because at the early stage, they made us understand the importance of acquiring formal knowledge.
To me, as a person, I love school from childhood. I mean, I could do anything to go to school. If I miss school, I cry. If I don't have school fees to pay, I cry. I mean, I could cry a whole of that day, because I love school. I want to experience school. I want to be educated. I want to be among my peers. I want to be socialized. So I love school as a person. I feel excited studying. I feel excited having the opportunity to know more.
Okay. The advantages of acquiring formal knowledge or going to school, they are much. Seriously, they are, because it gets one exposed. It gets you meeting, like I said before now, you meet people from other ethnic groups. You get to understand the culture of the other man from the other community, because school brings all of you together.
School tends to make you to stand out, both in the society, in your family, among your peers. There's just this difference in you being educated.
Because if you're not educated, then you end up like the touts. You wouldn't even have enough money to take care of yourself, how much more starting up a family. So the disadvantages are much.
Sometimes you see a young scholar trying to get admission for several years, striving, writing jams and all that. So at the end of the day, they become discouraged. So why not our society, our government try to make getting admission more easier, making it easier for someone to go learn?
People who don't like school, the majority of them end up frustrated, because as they grow old, they find that they are not placed anywhere. They find that they don't have a profession to hold on to. They find out that they cannot be employed in the offices to work. Yes, I know not everybody would work in the office, but acquiring the knowledge gives you an upper hand. Even if you don't want to work in an office, you choose to run your own business. So those that didn't want to go to school, they didn't go to school, they have a whole lot to suffer at the end.
I'm somebody who never liked school. I never liked school. In fact, I repeated JSS1. How many times? I repeated JSS1 5 times. It's nothing to brag about, oh. It is That is not call for bragging points at all. But you see, a lot of factors contributed to why I repeated. First of all, I was raised as an only child. I was raised in the limelight. I was raised with a dad, Bishop Benoroma, who was always on TV. So having all that attention made school almost impossible. But even apart from that, I just didn't like school. I didn't like maths. I didn't like science. I really didn't like anything. Actually, all I liked to do was sing. I was the type of student that literally in the middle of the class, they would say, Oruma! And I would get up like so startled. What did I just say? And I wouldn't know. And the students would tease me and say, she's writing a book again, or she's writing a song again, And the teacher would say, you see, this is the example of doing the right thing at the wrong time. So, how do you love school? How did I get to liking school? Repeating JSS1 5 times, not really paying attention. Even when I went to the university, I did a lot of shortcuts. Like, you know how like you purposely choose all the classes that you like so that towards the end of everything that you will now do the classes that you don't like? That stuff does not work. It doesn't work. It's shortcuts. That mountain is still going to come back. You will still have to face that mountain. Okay, so I'm going to give you tips on how to love school, how to enjoy school, how to do this school thing, because you do need an education, okay? And you don't just need an education, you need to be a first class. Like, you need to be up there, because being a first class opens doors. It really does. It really does. So it's not enough to just be going to school for a degree. You want to be as up there as you can. Now, mind you, I'm not just talking about school as in secondary school or whatever. No, I'm talking to you who is interested in having a master's, you're interested in doing a PhD, you are working at an organization or at an institute or for the government, and you need to do trainings. All of that is schooling. Okay, so like I know that there are a lot of organizations that require you to do some trainings for 6 months or for 1 year. So you have to know the nitty-gritty of actually how to start, how to enjoy, and how to finish. Start, enjoy, finish. A lot of people don't finish because they didn't enjoy. So they started, but they didn't enjoy it, therefore they don't finish. So how do you go through school, enjoying it, and then finishing it? Number one, you have to go to school every day. You go every day. There is a reason why students, especially like in elementary school, in primary school, in secondary school, in the university, there's a reason why classes are every day. Now, I do know that in the university, the classes are divided to where it's probably Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or whatever, but there is a consistency. So you have to go to school every day. Really, you are doing yourself a huge disservice when you tell yourself that you're sick and you don't go. Then you tell yourself that your head is aching and you don't go. Then you tell yourself that you've not finished your homework, therefore you don't go. All kinds of excuses. I'm not saying that they are not legitimate, but the truth is that you want to go to school every day. You have to make it a lifestyle. It has to become a routine. It has to be something that you're doing every single day so that it can become a part of you. You understand? You are what you do every day. You are what you do every second. You are what you do every minute. So if you want to be able to assimilate whatever it is you are doing, whatever it is you are studying, you are going to have to practice it every single day. Secondly, you have to be ready for it. You have to, a day before, get your clothes out. Do your homework, for crying out loud. That is part of the preparation. It's part of getting ready. Look forward to the next day. Look forward to it. The questions that you had from that first class, make sure that you go home and you do have some kind of understanding by the time you go the next day, which will be going on the internet, which will be calling a friend, which will be rereading your notes. Okay, you have to be ready for the next day. The next day is the way it is because of what you did today. I'm going to say that again. Your tomorrow is the way it is because of what you did today. Therefore, you get out your clothes, you get out your shoes, you make sure that your homework is done, you set your alarm, okay, so that you can wake up on time. You know, you prepare for the next day. Look at school as something that you look forward to. Everything is about gingering. Everything is about prepping yourself up. Everything is about telling yourself, okay, I can do this. Everything in life is not so enjoyable. You have to practice enjoyment. I hope you know. You have to practice enjoyment. It's like your job. It's like a marriage. It's like a commitment. Anything that has to do with a commitment has a lot to do with being prepared, and has a lot to do with being intentional. It has a lot to it has a lot to do with intentionality. So the same way you run your marriage, the same way that you run your job, the same way you raise your children, all of that is done with intentionality. So it's the same thing with school. You are going to have to be intentional. Number one, you are going to have to go to school every day. I know. You have to show up every day. And then it's not just showing up, but you have to be ready. You have to prepare for it. Number three, rest. You have to sleep. You can't be sleeping at 3 a.m. in the morning and you have to be at class at 8 a.m. How now? You would drag yourself to class. You would get to class, you would sleep, or you would not really have your full attention. And wherever there is lack of attention or reduced attention, decreased attention, you wouldn't have the absolute information. So when exam comes, you won't be able to pass. You would wonder, but I studied and studied. Yeah, you studied the night before. Excuse me. You studied the night before. You did a crash program. It's really not in your brain. Like everything's all crammed up. So when you have a question that requires you to think extra and requires you to think some more, you would notice that you are at a deficit because you really don't know everything about it. When my mom was still alive, whenever she was holding morning devotions, you know, she would probably say like, okay, let's read Psalm 23 verse 3, you know, or or Proverbs chapter 17 verse 2, right? We would read that verse and then she would now say, read the whole chapter. And I was like, what is wrong with this woman? Oh my God. You know, she will be like, read the whole chapter. Okay, so what was the point of telling me to read that verse in the first place if we're still going to go back to read the whole chapter? And she would say, because so that you can have a full understanding of the context of that particular verse, why that verse was written, why that verse stands out. It can only stand out and it can only be contextualized in a certain way when you read the whole thing. So when you're not fully rested, when you're not sleeping on time, when you're tired, when you're groggy, when you're sleeping in class, when you're really not paying attention, like me, writing songs when I'm supposed to be writing notes, all of that. When an exam comes, you wouldn't even understand the context, the angle in which it is coming from. And then you will probably just give a direct answer. Not every answer really to 1 + 1 is 2. You understand? Like there are other there is something called context. You understand? So you have to know the full body in order to understand the context. And you cannot understand the context when your mind is all over the place. You can't. You can't. I'm going to come back with some more tips. Stay tuned. Welcome back. So we've been talking about how to enjoy school. And I told you that you cannot enjoy school you cannot enjoy school if you don't endure through school. But you see, the irony of it is that in order to endure, you are going to have to know how to enjoy. So it's not just starting school. You have to start school, then you have to enjoy school, and then you finish school. So there are a whole bunch of people who are looking forward to finishing. Oh my gosh, I can hardly wait to finish. I will tell you about when I started my nursing program. Oh my gosh, right there in the middle of the whole program, I was like, oh, why did I start? Why did I start? I wanted to shoot myself because it was too hard. You understand? So I do know what it means to be in school and you're not enjoying it and you're enduring it. But I'll give you some secrets. So I was telling you about enjoying school. Okay? Number one, you have to attend class every day. For goodness sake, if you are not committed to whatever it is you are doing, then how are you going to reap the dividends from it? It's impossible now. It's impossible. The same way you run your life, really, it's how you run school. The same way you pay your rent so that you will not be evicted. The same way that there is love in your marriage so that the years and years will continue to roll by. The same way you take your children to school so that they will have an education. The same way you show up at work. It's the same way that you have to show up in school every day. There's something about an education, something about opening that book, studying it, going through all of those semesters and getting your degree. That thing opens doors for you, and it really does set you in high places. And it's not the high places that you set for yourself, because that's what hustling does. Hustling sets you up at high places for yourself. It does not put you in high places on other people's doors. It doesn't knock on other people's doors for you. So take some time and marinate on that. Moving on. So you have to attend class every day. Number two, I talked about you have to be prepared. A day before, be prepared. Get your clothes ready. Get your shoes ready. Set your alarm. Finish your homework. Do the homework. Call a friend. Ask about the topic that was spoken on. You understand? Have a full understanding of it before you go to class the next day. And if you don't understand it, you can always go on the internet. Okay? And then please, rest. You have to rest. You have to sleep. I was talking about contextualization. I was talking about context. When an exam is being brought to you, sometimes the answer is not so straightforward. You would need to know everything that has to do with that question. So if you were sleeping in class, or if you didn't even sleep at night or whatever, your attention span is at a deficit. It is very, very low. Therefore, you wouldn't be able to answer that question correctly, or you will be confused. It will seem like there are three answers to one question. Yes, because you don't understand the context of it. And the reason you don't understand the context of it is because that you didn't read the whole thing. And the reason that you didn't read the whole thing is because, what? I don't know. But you're tired, you didn't sleep, your brain is clogged. So make sure that you're getting your 8 hours of sleep. If you have to be at class at 8 a.m. in the morning, then you should know that you should be in bed 8, 9 the day before. I mean, it's common sense, because you need your 8 hours of sleep for this brain to function. Another point, breakfast. You have to eat breakfast. And I'm not just talking about eating a donut or one akara and you run out of the house. No. Eat a full course meal. Have your cereal, have your milk, have your eggs, have your bacon, have your orange juice, and head out. Drink your water, have your lemon, eat well. And it's not just eating your breakfast, but actually eating well every day, and eating well in the morning, in the afternoon, and at night. All of this comes together to give you a very, very good and sound day. But I really do want to focus on the breakfast. For the love of God, like, you're going to school and you're going to have a lot of information being bombarded and thrown at you. You would need your attention span to be up. You would need your energy to also be up. So make sure that you're eating proteins. Make sure that you're also eating your carbs too. Make sure that it's a well-balanced diet. Another thing is your interest. You have to be interested in whatever it is you are studying. So now for me, because I was raised in ministry, as soon as I finished my secondary school, I went to Southwestern Assemblies of God U, and that's in Texas. And I was in school for 8 years. And up to this day, I could never get a job. For me, I could not find a job. And so, like, the whole thing was so annoying. So I went into the nursing profession. And mind you, I still didn't like school. I didn't like school. I told you that I repeated GSS 1 5 times. to graduate from the university, it took me 8 years. Why? Because of maths. I was always dodging that maths, and I was always getting shy grades to my passing grade. Eventually, after 8 years, I was like, oh, girl, see, buckle and do this thing. And I actually passed, but I passed with a D. I sure passed. Anyway, moving on. So, anyway, so I passed, right? But that's not good enough. But why did I pass with a D? I passed with a D because I didn't have any interest in it. So, another secret to loving school is you do have to have a passion for whatever it is you are doing. I don't like numbers. So I can never study accounting. I don't like it. I don't like a lot of information. I cannot study law. I don't like to stay in school for a long time. I can never do medicine. You don't like blood and you're going to study medicine. Like I don't understand. So be honest with yourself. Don't choose your course based on how you were raised or what your parents said or what all your friends are doing. This is your life. This is your life. This is your accomplishment. This is your purpose. This is your destiny. So for some of us, the reason why we didn't like school, and for some of you, the reason why you may not like school is because you're not studying what you like. And then if you're somebody who has already gone 3 years into it, and you still don't like it, and you're wondering, hey, how can I now drop it and start all over again? My dear, please drop it and start all over again. Really. Because you would end up passing with a D. So you're still not going to get a job anyway. Because a lot of organizations look at how you passed. It's not just that you passed, but how did you pass? Did you cheat to pass? Did you swim to pass? Did you rush to pass? How did you pass? How did you pass? So why are you struggling now? Kuku, study what you like to study. Do what it is that you like to do. Okay, so now on a serious note, please, I beg. If it is 4 years that you have to be in the university and you're in your 3rd year, just finish it. Finish. You're almost done. No knowledge is wasted. But you see, when you're doing your master's, you better theories. Do exactly what it is that you wanted to do. Learn from how the first degree was hell. You're paying school fees for something that you hate. Learn from it. If you're still in your 1st year, please drop out. Drop out and start again. My first degree, you know that my first career in life, I am a singer. I have sung for the greats. So to me, let me go and study music. So my first degree, when I went into school and applied for school, I was a music major. After 1 semester of learning different octaves, staccatos and legatos and all of that, after piano lessons, after staccatos, after madrigal choirs, after singing in different kinds of chorales, 1 semester, which was about 4 months, I hated it. Oh my gosh. My voice was given to me as a gift. But people don't study music unless they want to become like professors. I have no interest in standing in front of a class to teach anybody about music. Therefore, I have no interest whatsoever in learning the nitty-gritty about it. I would know the little things. Of course, I would know what the keys are, the F sharps and the G's and all that. Of course, I would know that. I would have to know about production. I would have to know about song composition. I would have to know about timing, about rhythm, and all that. Yeah. But to actually do a degree in music when I'm not going to become a professor, why? Like, really, why? So I dropped out. I dropped out and I took on church ministries. To me, I have been in church my whole life, so it would be easy. It was not easy. Oh my goodness, learning everything about the New Testament, about the Old Testament, about the epistles, about the prophets, about revelations, about heaven, about hell, about that stuff was hard. Do you know why it was hard? Because I don't have a passion to teach it. Once again, people who study these things are actually going to be teaching these things. I don't have that passion, for goodness sake. But you know what I have a passion in? I have a passion in metaphysics. I have a passion in psychology. I have a passion in nursing. So when I started my nursing program in New York, you should have seen me. I was studying at 3 a.m. in the morning. I was recording the teacher as she was teaching. I was going home and I was listening to it. I was just eating up all the information. Daily ambulation, daily living, brushing of teeth, cleaning of commode, cancer, PTSD. I love that information. Oh, I love it. Even as I'm talking, like, you can see that I'm bright. I love nursing. I love that information. I love post-mortem care. I love thanatology. I love everything that has to do with nursing. You understand? So therefore, my whole attention, everything, my whole life, I was studying at 3 a.m. I must be at class at 9. I leave the house at 8. I iron my uniform. I iron my nursing gear. I whiten my shoes, because I loved what I was doing. And I was also participating. So lastly, you participate. Participate in what you are doing. That's how you would actually know that you enjoy it. It's when you're going for field trips, when you're going an extra mile for whatever it is that you are studying. So how do you love school? You love school by going to school every day. You love school by being ready. You love school by eating a good breakfast. You love school by resting. You make sure that it is a passion for you. Whatever it is a passion. If you don't like that subject, drop out. If you're almost done with it, continue it, but make sure that your master's and your PhD is in something that you absolutely love. Right now, I'm working on my PhD in metaphysics. I love it. Absolutely love it. And lastly, participate. Okay? Don't ever buy to that idea that money is what changes all things. Traveling around the world and money is not going to do it. That's not the only thing. You do need an education, but you need to enjoy in order to endure. Until next time, bye. You will have to jump off a cliff, just knowing that you will not crash. If you're not in control of your